against his commendation.
We're free tomorrow. This thing is touching.
And went to Ilkley, Yorkshire. Hey, lads. I discovered there, to my
This
great
downtown,
concern,
you can't see parking on downtown.
The school.
That's
So
the
they
thing.
endeavored to make me a rugby player.
There's no place
That's
to
why I was
Eventually,
trying to
because
go
I
buy
could
the
kick,
bean.
they made me the fullback.
bean.
And I
Yeah,
still
but if you
recall
turned
the
off
sense
this
of
way to get on the
absolute
expressway instead
terror
of turning the other
in
way to park.
waiting for the ball kicked from the opposing team
By
to
Millennium
come to
Park,
me,
where we went
hoping
last time with the
desperately
kids.
that the law of gravity would bring it down and into my arms before these horrible boys that were running
Park
at me
right there,
would
we walked
reach
across
me.
the street.
And I think, quite honestly, to my
Okay,
shame,
so
there were
I
occasions
don't
when
remember
I saw
that
them and I
street.
saw
So
the
which side
ball
are
and I
we
just
taking?
moved off to
You
one
show me
side.
where to take.
I can only recall one thing being said to me at halftime.
Let me know where to take
when
from.
the deputy rector, Mr. Whittaker, who was looking after the team at that point, gathered us all around and had a word for this one and that one. I'll never forget the look in his eyes. He couldn't conceal the sense of disappointment, almost disgust as he looked at me. And he said to me, "Look at you, Beg. You've been out there for 40 minutes. And you haven't even got your knees brown." And my shorts were immaculate, my shirt was beautiful, my hair was just nice. I was completely useless. He looks down on the Ephesian church. Says, "I commend you, folks. You're giving yourselves to the task. You're tough."
Jesus wants us to follow the example of the Ephesian church and to persevere in doing the hard work of proclaiming and living out the gospel. This is Truth for Life with Alistair Begg. In today's message,
Am I going
Alistair
straight?
urged men to step up to
Are we going
spiritual
home?
conviction, commitment,
Is that in the road
leadership
going?
in the home and in the church and the community. If you feel inspired to step up, but you're not sure how to proceed, you can find more of Alistair's sermons on our website at truthforlife.org. You can search for sermons by topic. You'll find messages under topic headings like biblical manhood, Christian living, husbands, fathers, more. Again, go to truthforlife.org, click on sermons in the dark blue
Baby.
bar, and then you can browse
Where am I
by
turning?
topic.
Keep straight.
All of Alistair's teaching is free to download and share. We're passionate about making clear, relevant Bible teaching available to everyone without cost being a barrier. And we're able to do this because of the generosity of listeners. Truth for Life is entirely listener funded. The teaching you hear on this program is brought to you each day because of listeners like you, listeners who give consistently to cover the cost associated with distributing Alistair's teaching. If you're a regular listener, or if you enjoy being able to download the teaching freely from our website or our mobile apps, will you reach out today with a donation? When you give, we want to encourage you to request as a thank you gift a copy of the book we're highlighting. It's called Women and God. This is a book that takes a broad sweep through Scripture to look at women specifically. Why did God make Eve the way he did? What does this mean for women in our day as they consider their various roles? Request the book when you make a donation of any amount. Just click on the image in the mobile app or visit us online at truthforlife.org/donate. Or you can call us at 888-588-7884. I'm Bob Lepine. Thanks for joining us. Jesus had a lot of praise for the Ephesian church, but tomorrow we'll hear how they were still in danger of spiritual bankruptcy. I hope you can join us. The Bible teaching of Alistair Begg is furnished by Truth for Life.
You know, one thing, you got to turn that way because you always read this way.
Join us again for Truth for Life again tomorrow morning at 11:30 here on Moody Radio. Great scripture verse for us to keep focused today from Psalm 121. I lift up my eyes to the mountains. Where does my help come from? And of course, it goes on to say, my help comes from the Lord. So whatever you're facing today, lift up your eyes to the Lord and ask Him to help you today. Equipped with Chris Brooks is coming up next.
You want me to go that way?
You gotta keep straight. You go across the bridge,
The
you
Labor
north.
Department report
Okay.
unexpectedly showed a slight increase in first-time claims for U.S. employment benefits. That was for the week ending May 7th. More from Bernie Bennett.
The Labor Department said initial jobless claims crept up to 203,000, an increase of 1,000 from the previous week's revised level of 202,000. The uptick surprised economists who had expected jobless claims to dip to 195,000 from the 200,000 originally reported for the previous week. The report showed the less volatile 4-week moving average also edged up to 192,750, an increase of 4,250 from the previous week's revised average of 188,500. Bernie Bennett in Washington.
And there were higher numbers in another report. Washington correspondent Ben Thomas reporting the Labor Department's latest price report suggests high inflation is going to remain a burden in the months ahead.
The Labor Department's Producer Price Index measures inflation before it reaches consumers. April's figure was up 0.5% from March and 11% from April of last year. However, both figures were less than the previous report. Signed price increases may be moderating, is still painfully high.
Also at news.com, President Biden has told world leaders to remain vigilant against COVID-19. White House correspondent Greg Clugston reports.
During the second global coronavirus summit, the president called on nations to renew their commitment to attack the virus. He told world leaders this pandemic isn't over. The virtual meeting came as Mr. Biden marked 1 million COVID-19 deaths in the United States. He said it was a tragic milestone and issued a proclamation directing U.S. flags be flown at half-staff to honor the dead. Greg Clugston, Washington.
It's been up and down on Wall Street. Stocks now mixed. The Dow is down 184 points. The Nasdaq ahead 7. This is SRN News. Sharing God's truth in ways that are relevant to you. Whether it's a podcast message on your mobile device or a song on the radio, we're 90.1 FM. Moody Radio.
Moody Radio is thankful for support from our listeners and businesses like Bradish Associates. They offer insurance for life, health, and commercial specialty coverage. They're an independent agency and will do the shopping for you. More information is at bradish.com.
The following is not an actor, but a real-life story from Trinity Debt Management.
The credit card debt happened when my daughter was born. I was using one credit card account to roll over to another credit card account, and it was snowballing.
If you're in debt and you need help, call Trinity at 1-800-659-9838.
When I first called Trinity, the representative understood the need based on the situation. They were great people.
You want to drive?
From the first phone
Let me
call
sit
that I
right
made, they had me on a track to mitigate the credit card debt.
Trinity will consolidate your accounts into one easy-to-manage monthly payment, reduce your interest, and possibly improve your credit score. You'll save thousands.
Working with Trinity gave me the
I
ability
worship
to
you.
save thousands.
For you are
of
God
dollars. My name's
all
Doug,
by
and thanks to
yourself.
Trinity, I'm debt-free for keeps.
Call Trinity at
You are God all by
1-800-659-9838. That's 1-800-659-9838.
You are
Moody
God all
Radio is
by
thankful for support from
yourself.
C12 Chicago. Full-time C12 chair
Oh,
opportunities exist for
Jesus.
Christian leaders to
You
facilitate
are
business
God
forums
all
while
by
coaching and mentoring
yourself.
business leaders who desire to build great businesses for a greater purpose. More information is at c12chicago.com.
It's officially spring, although some days it doesn't quite feel like it. I'm Matt McNeely, station manager at 90.1 FM Moody Radio. And when I think of spring, I think of my wife Kelly digging in the dirt and planting flowers and vegetables. Because spring is a time for growing. Well, when it comes to growing spiritually, you don't have to wait until spring or stop in the winter. Moody Radio is here to help you grow spiritually all the time. So plant your seeds and grow while listening to 90.1 FM Moody Radio.
Boy, we sure do live in complicated times. You know, as Christians, we have to ask questions about how to engage our culture, how to live faithfully in the moment we're in, stay focused on the mission we're on. How do we reach out to our families, friends, neighbors with the good news of the gospel? Well, you know, each week, I'm going to tackle here on Ed Stetzer Live the issue of engaging our culture for Christ. So I invite you not just to listen in, but to call in and join with us in these important discussions. Ed Stetzer Live this Saturday morning at 11 on Moody Radio.
From Portage, Indiana to Racine, Wisconsin, we're here for whatever life throws at you. Count on us for hope, insight, and truth wherever you are. We're 90.1 FM, Moody Radio, WMBI FM and HD1 Chicago.
Shit, I'm outside. No, I'm outside. No, I'm downtown. Alright. No, alright.
Who's that?
Gigi, she thought I was over there. The one you was talking to, I guess, about your clothes. The short little lady, dark skin.
The lady in the beauty?
Michigan that way. The next light, make a left. Make a left turn. And go straight down Michigan. Make a left and then make a right down Michigan. This how me and the kids were yesterday. Very tired. Ain't nothing but the heat.
When was that?
Get them at the time, but
in their faith. I'm asking you to consider becoming a monthly partner. On average, that is typically $1 a day that good folks set aside to support the program. We call them equippers. Our equipper family enables us to plan for the future and allows us to reach the next generation with the good news of Jesus Christ. And so, if you can consider setting aside $1 a day, $30 a month, becoming a monthly partner would be awesome. Can you dial the number 888-644-4144? That's 888-644-4144, or go to equipradio.org. Today we're going to discuss and address one of the most important cultural and moral issues of our time. But before we get into the topic, I do want to remind you that as we take on controversial and sometimes complex and challenging issues, it is always my commitment to make sure that we bring more light than heat. In other words, I don't want us to just argue about these things. I want us to actually figure out a way to bring about the wisdom of Scripture, as well as a way forward for those who are caught in the perils of our culture and the realities of a fallen world. The question of the legality and the morality of abortion has been a hotly contested one, especially since
I'm already doing videos since we're driving.
Decision.
We're gonna look at that, girl. It ain't been no talk.
Don't worry about it.
As many of you know, over 60 million babies have been aborted in America. This issue is one that has
my people love it. They love it. Taking them
over the last several days with the
downtown
leak of Justice Sam Alito's draft of the majority opinion concerning a case that has broad, sweeping implications on the abortion issue. We're going to have this discussion. What I want to do is present you with a resource that I believe that will help you to navigate through the various challenges and claims to the pro-life position with grace and with wisdom. The resource is simply entitled Choose Life. Subtitle: Answering Key Claims of abortion defenders with compassion. And I have the authors or general editors with me today. First, Dr. Jeanette Pfeiffer. I'm so grateful for her. She earned her PhD from the University of Durham. She is professor of New Testament at Biola University. She also served in a variety of ministry capacities, including evangelistic and humanitarian work.
It's downtown. You just see people with their food.
Yeah, because I'm hungry as hell. Looking at that
ministry training around the world.
So,
Jeanette, how are you today?
I'm hungry. Oh, your English is hell.
So great to have you on. Also, Dr. John Goodrich is
So
with
you
me
eating
as
this
well.
morning?
He earned
Yeah, I ate
his
2
PhD
pieces
as
of
well
chicken.
from the University of
2
Durham.
pieces Don't want no
He's
food.
professor
I
of
just warmed
Bible
that up.
at Moody Bible
Oh,
Institute.
chicken is not
He's also
food.
deeply and passionately committed to the church and to training people to be active in ministry. John, how are you today?
I'm good. Thanks for having me.
Thanks for the work that you both have put into this, along with, if I counted correctly, about 20 contributors to this project in total. It is a comprehensive and compassionate work. Jeanette, if you wouldn't mind, share with us the origin story of this project.
Oh, certainly. Well, actually, John might be better to answer that because it really started with him, and he approached me about working together.
Sure. John?
Yeah, well, I kind of think back now on all the details that have happened over the last few years because this project has had already a long life, but it really started with just recognizing that I feel like I had something to say, and I was deeply inspired by just a number of our politicians in our country who have, even just a couple of years ago, submitted proposals to their various states, heartbeat bills and the rest, that showed me that this issue isn't going away, and I'm happy about that. So, I normally live and breathe in the academic world as a professor of Bible, and I teach all about biblical motivation, how to study the New Testament and all that. But I need to step back and realize the academic world has a lot to say to the church
And then we'll be over
and to everyday people.
Yeah, we still going.
And just 3 or 4 years ago,
Going home.
I just realized that there's a lot of questions that I think need to be answered and responded to.
Oh, well, the expression right there.
And, about this issue of abortion. And when I approached Bush Publishers about this project idea, it was still
Subscribe
very much
and share.
It needed to be worked out
So
and fleshed
what?
out, but I was immediately told
I'm taking
what
you guys
need to do is
round
need to find,
downtown.
a very bright young woman to
Yeah,
work
we
on
ain't
this
seen
with you
nothing but
because
you.
there's so much gender
Yeah,
politics involved
see
in this
me.
issue. And if
See
you could get,
me.
one of your colleagues, perhaps from another institution, to work along with you, that would help the project immensely. And immediately I thought,
I
Jeanette,
see
I gotta
you.
get with Jeanette. And I
You'll
remember
see
approaching
me.
her, actually very diplomatically asking her, Jeanette, do you know anybody at Biola who would be interested in this project? I'm hoping all along that Jeanette would be
Where,
raise her
guys?
hand and
Tomorrow?
contact me. And
Today is
turned out she did.
Thursday.
And,
Tomorrow,
I was very happy that she accepted the
Friday.
invitation, and she's just been
I'm off work
just a
tomorrow.
wonderful co-editor.
I'm gonna take you guys
Jeanette, in
downtown
the introduction, you
to see some beautiful
both write
places
that the
downtown.
hope of this book is to provide grace-filled and Christ-honoring answers that provide us with empathy, reason, and understanding, while at the same time rendering us confident as well as compassionate. I love the way that you all ground this beyond just the issue of legality, and we'll come back to that in just a moment. But you really do bring the human story to life. You open up with stories of women who have had abortions, and you share their stories and the deep mental, emotional anguish that they live with as a result. This book seems to me, Jeanette, to be as much about rescuing women as it is the unborn. Is that right?
That really was our heart in writing this. I mean, obviously we had a deep concern for the unborn, but we did, I think, articulate that like equally important is rescuing women in crisis, and so that really was the heart behind the book, and that's why it was so important for us to have so many, women who either had abortions or are experts and various leaders speaking into the topic.
You have, again, these powerful stories that you bring to life. I'm looking at the introduction, and it simply starts with one word: haunting. This is the word many women use to describe their day-to-day experience after having an abortion. Jeanette, just one more question for you, and
See
I'll
you
come back to you in a
guys.
moment, John.
Love you.
But
Subscribe and
is it
share.
true, in your opinion,